Eric, you're amazing.
Thank you, Grace. That was not planned out.
Have I told you that lately? Eric,
No.
you're amazing. I don't tell you that enough, do I?
No, you don't. Nobody does. I feel like it needs to be said more
Eric,
often.
just so you know, you're amazing.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, Grace. Grace, it's episode 18. Are you ready for it?
What does that mean?
Listen. No. That you can't do that.
What?
Listen, stop.
What?
Let me go. The number 18 is a hard one to rhyme. So I'll just skip it and save us some time. I'm Eric, Idiot Runner Kosek.
And I'm Grace, Hot Pants Langheim. Eric is all business in the front of the pack, and I am all about the party in the back.
That's right, business up front and party in the back. Together, we are the Running Mullet.
And we are going to talk about every aspect of running, the podium to the DNF and everything in between.
If you are a runner, this show is for you. Now sit back, get out your foam roller, and enjoy the party.
Happy Monday.
Welcome, everyone, to the live broadcast of the Running Mullet.
Yes. Welcome for all the people who are live and joining in. Thank you for joining us live on the YouTubes and the Facebooks. And if you're listening to us Tuesday morning, good morning. I hope you're going out for a lovely run.
Yeah, but you should have been here Monday night. I just got to
That's the place to be.
So this is episode number 18. Have we gotten 18 times better, you think?
At least 18 times better.
Yeah, I agree.
It's hard to count. We're like level 47. We're at level 47 now. We're like level 47 podcasters.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's absolutely good.
Wow. The scale only goes up to what, 48?
Yeah, it goes up to 48. And we're level 47 already.
Oh man, how's your week going? You are busy. You're planning. You're getting ready for your big women camp. Thank you. Yeah.
If you know, you know. But we're gonna have some fun this weekend. That's what's gonna happen. But yeah, the summertime is so busy and a lot going on. I had fun this past weekend and can't wait for the next. You know, that's how it goes. How about you, man? What's going on? You're getting ready for it's not a race, it's a run.
Yeah, next weekend, everybody's coming to my house. We're going to have fun. Everybody's going to make new friends. Everybody's going to have fun and smiles and not break anything and go home with memories and best friends and stuff like that they didn't know they have.
You sound really excited about it too. So
I'm super always excited. Always excited. And you're coming up to my house.
I am.
Look at this smile. I mean, come on.
Mullet. Yeah. Mullet joined.
Yeah. We gotta talk about what we're gonna figure out there for the show and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got big stuff happening today.
Do we? Yeah, it's let's see, it's Ironstone Eve. Uh-huh. Or maybe I went to one Eves. Tonight is the last at midnight, I believe, is the deadline to register for Ironstone 100k, which we're talking about first off, right?
Yep, absolutely. You want to intro Patrick?
Yeah, I guess if we must. So we have the co-race director of Ironstone 100k on here.
What's his name?
Patrick Sachse. Right? No,
I just wanted you to intro him because I want to see how many times what you come up with for his last name.
All right, before he tells us and clarifies it, what give me your guess?
I'm gonna go with Patrick Sachse.
It gets you in the middle there, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. It makes sense in my head and it comes out of my mouth. Terrible. It sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Sachse.
Okay. Thank you for that. Anyway,
I'm in the same boat as you. I just wanted you to deal with it first.
yeah. As we told you last week, he just finished.
Patrick, we don't know how to say your last name. We're gonna you want to bring him in?
Bring him in, yeah.
Okay, let's bring him in. Patrick, what is your last name?
How are you? Eric, you're awesome.
Thank you.
You're awesome.
I appreciate that. I didn't even ask him to say that.
Oh, I thought it was required.
Eric is awesome.
Yeah.
It's required.
Right, so last name is Sachse. I'm gonna go music teacher nerd on you. The
like
SACH works like Bach, and then we just kind of make it up for the end. But yeah, Sachse.
It's so much simpler than
It's
so much simpler than what I thought it was. Like, why couldn't we say that? I don't know.
I couldn't pronounce my own name until I went to music school.
That's right.
It's
a good thing you went to music school. Otherwise, what did you play?
Trombone, still do.
Are you in a band?
Yeah, I'm in a grown-up brass collective, and I'll do.
What's it called?
The Altoona Brass Collective.
The Altoona Brass Collective. Did you do
great
music at races?
He's a band director.
Yeah, band teacher. But we do like churches, nursing homes, parking lots.
Races at midnight?
We have not. That's
saying
a good idea.
I know. So I had this idea, and I feel free anybody out there to steal this. I love listening. I love TikTok. It's terrible. When I eat my breakfast in the morning, I watch TikTok, and there's this saxophone player, and it's sax squatch. So it's this guy who dresses up. Have you seen him? He's in a Sasquatch costume, and he plays the saxophone, and he jazzes up all of these really popular songs. So I looked him up, and he's in Virginia. And so I'm like, I really want to tell the Virginia Happy Trails Running Club, like I really want them to hire him for Massanutten or something. And can you imagine having Sax Squatch playing the saxophone in the middle of 100-mile? This would be awesome. This is genius. But if we can't have Sax Squatch, I think we should have the Altoona
Brass
group.
Collective. Yeah.
The Altoona Brass Collective playing sweet, sweet sounds in the middle of the woods.
Grace, can I finish introing him, please?
Let's make a new race first. Okay, intro him. Do it.
Gosh. All right. Patrick is here to talk about the Ironstone 100k, which is coming up this weekend, right?
It is.
Saturday start at what time?
2 in the afternoon.
2 in the afternoon. He is also here to talk about a very big race that he just finished, the last annual Heart of the South, correct?
Correct.
351 miles. What did you have on your equipment?
347 official.
Okay.
But yeah, I was afraid to even look at the watch because like 50 road miles usually came up as 59 if you counted all the laps I did at the Food Lions for groceries.
Ah, interesting. So we'll get to that race. It was pretty big. It's amazing that he finished and that people do things like that. Much respect for that. He's also done Eastern States. He's done Worlds and 100K.
Mm-hmm.
He just did
Highlands.
Grace. He just did. He just did
Teamwork.
He just did Massanutten 100, which he did uncrewed with no help at all, not even any drop bags. So making it, the hardest possible way you can do a 100-miler, basically. And he chooses to do that. So that's pretty amazing. So first off, we want to talk about Ironstone, right?
Yes.
Let's see. I know some things about Ironstone. I know there's a very flat rail trail section at the start for, 13 miles?
15.
15-ish miles. So that gets your legs warmed up so that you can then climb a mountain and walk on wobbly rocks for the next 50 miles or so.
Yes.
And then you finish, and you're supposed to be happy that you finished. Is that? I mean, that kind of sums it up, right?
I couldn't have said it better myself.
No, I mean, in all seriousness, it's known for its extremely technical terrain. Obviously after the rail trail, I was on it when I did Mid-State Trail, and you can't move very fast. That's the easiest way to put it, right?
Yeah, like overnight, there's a lot of sections that are basically not runnable. I mean, anyone's capable of anything eventually, but yeah, it's meant to be technical. It's meant to be hard. It's supposed to be meaningful, and this isn't a race for everyone. We're pretty open about that.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of, in my eyes, it kind of mirrored the idea of, Black Forest 100K, kind of not, that's a midnight start, but it's still, it doesn't have, it's okay that it's not for everyone. But it's got some specialness to it if you're willing to try.
Yeah, like we're very good friends with Dave Walker, the director of that, and we definitely took a lot of stuff from his playbook, and we wanted the same, just a lot of the same vibe, a lot of the same energy. Like we're, hard, rewarding race, trying to not take ourselves too seriously in the meantime, and just make a cool experience for those willing to step outside the box.
And so, Patrick, I want to give you an opportunity for some shout outs because your name, you put Patrick Sachse, co-RD, which means you have some other people helping you out. Who else is helping you out? And shout some people out, man.
Well, first off, so I'm co-RD with Ben Mazer. Yeah. I need to give Ben tons of credit, and I really don't like being nice to him if I can help it.
But yeah,
nobody does.
He is brilliant. He is so good at this. He's director of Eastern States right now.
Yeah.
Allegheny Trail Runners. Calling me co-RD is a big and generous upgrade. Like I'm basically his intern. He does everything so well, so efficiently. He has stuff done before I even think to ask the questions. So I'm just taking lots of notes and just learning how he does things because he does a absolutely thorough and fantastic job in so many levels. And, I'm happy to bust my butt like during race weekend, but behind the scenes, I'm really just watching it all as he knocks out a wonderful product.
Yeah. And he obviously keeps you in the basement while he works anyway, because that's where you are right now. I believe you're in a cement basement. So that's appropriate.
He just summons me when it's time to like bring him his slippers and his reading glasses and morning coffee. And
that's smart. I need to do race directing that way.
Yeah.
So this registration closes tonight at midnight, right?
Yes.
There's a chance that somebody's on here that might be on the fence. I don't know. There's a slight chance that somebody's watching right now that might be on the fence. Do you have anything to say that could maybe get them on the fence, the side of the fence of just pushing that register button?
Guarantee you will love your experience. You're going to love the people you're going to meet. It's going to be rewarding. It's going to be cool. And yes, it's technical, but you're stronger than you realize. And if nothing else, our cutoffs are pretty generous. Like the last people finished the race with hours to spare, and that was the first year of it. So, you might not go as fast as you want, but I guarantee if you've got a qualifier, you can do this.
Yeah. And you've got some pretty great folks already signed up. I saw Ben King was on there, and you've got a nice draw from a lot of different states. You even got the Midwest coming in. You got Jersey, you got Canada. So really drawing in a great crowd.
If I'm reading the acronyms correctly, someone from the Philippines.
Wow. Ooh. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. You got a nice crew coming in. And you have very nice swag. This has been I remember when it first came out, the first year I was like, that swag. Look at that swag. Everybody at World's End was wearing that flannel.
Glenelg.
And see, if you have the beard, you can still see the logo too, which is a plus for people like the amazing Eric.
What about his? His is longer than mine, Grace.
It is.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. It used to be, so that's what matters.
We definitely need to have a beard measuring comparison. We need to measure beards.
We can do that at Eastern. I'll probably end up at your aid station.
I
don't know what my volunteer assignment is yet, but I'll be there.
Yeah. It's this one's been on my list. I have other arrangements this weekend. I'm not able to attend. I'm really bummed. And man, I hope it goes well. I can't wait to hear all the stories. I've heard nothing but good stuff about this race. Someday I'll be prepared for it. Not ready yet. Nope.
Yeah. We're really excited to see what year 2 is going to look like.
Yeah.
Like, if anyone interested in the race, the website is wonderfully thorough. Like the course descriptions, like down to the mile, like it'll tell you everything you need to know what to expect and to strategize. But even with that up last year, just having so many people, like they lived it, they had their stories to share. We have, last I checked, at least 9 finishers returning. Nice. And a good number of people who didn't finish last year and we're still really excited to come back and give it another go.
Yeah.
But, it'll be interesting now that everyone has a better sense of the strategy, like, what happens with the finishing times and the success rate now that people have coming in with different plans.
What's the weather looking like for the weekend down there this weekend?
I haven't checked yet. I don't really trust forecasts more than 3 days in advance.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Hopefully the Canadian haze cuts down a little.
Yeah. I think up here it's supposed to be really hot Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then kind of go away for the weekend. So hopefully it's the same for down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think this is one, that I'd really encourage people to, even if they're not able to race this year, I think it's one that I envision, you put on your calendar as an 8 race. I think it's one that you really make like, oh, that's going to be my big race of the summertime. I think it's a cool one to really focus on for the year. So I'm excited to see how this year goes, and someday I want to do it. I don't know.
We'll be here.
It's on my list too. Just has to fit right.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to bust your chops for not doing it last year, but you've done it. It's not hard with your FKT.
I forget what my excuse was last year. I feel like I had one, but maybe not. Probably not a good enough one that you would accept.
Yeah, but we know you stay busy. You're forgiven.
Yeah.
I'll get down there, I promise.
I think it fits in nicely for people who race a lot of winter racing. If you're doing things like Frozen Snot, kind of those winter races, the January, February ones, I think it fits nicely in with a summer race. Just a matter of like putting it on the calendar, making it happen.
Yeah. They're all good. There's so many to choose from.
I know. Yeah.
All right. Heart of the South, Patrick. When did you decide you were running that? Is that something you've had on your agenda for a while?
Probably for most of the past year, it's been on my mind. I have a very good friend, Elmo Snively, who did the last annual Vol State years ago, which is like a sister race to the same event.
Right.
So I know someone who's done it. I've heard the stories, and the other part of my inspiration, I did the Vermont Long Trail 2 summers ago. So although like through hiking isn't the same as running on like state highways, just still the idea of like, well, I've got a multi-day journey carrying everything I have. So it was
how long is the Long Trail?
270 something.
Okay.
miles.
And did you do that solo?
Ish.
Yeah.
A good friend from Buffalo, Will Edge, joined me for some sections. Just 'cause he wanted to get out there again. So I was with him for a while, and then you end up making friends out there.
Yeah.
Like this old, wonderful old guy, name was Retread. Oh, by the way, my trail name's Toe Jam. If you need to know that.
Yeah.
Good to know.
No,
Trail names are important.
oh yeah, Retread had done it like 30 or 40 years ago, and he came out for a second go, and
Nice.
we somehow like we saw each other in the first couple days of the race or the trip, lost paths, reconnected a week later, and then hung together for the final week. And I drove him home and dropped him off in upstate New York, saving his wife the trip, and we got sushi together.
That's awesome.
You just make one like this. You just get these best friends just because you happen to walk the same pace at the same time.
Yeah. Ah, man.
Quick side
And-
note: the Long Trail FKT is either about to be broken or was it broken today? I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
John
very
Kelly,
cool.
John Kelly is doing it.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, if anybody will do it, it'll be John.
yeah.
I heard he moved back to the States.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, why
And
don't you
if
go.
you ever want to be inspired, no, this is the let. Drop it. You're amazing, Eric. Last thing on the Long Trail, anybody listening, if you want to be inspired, watch, it's out on Google. It's a documentary called Finding Traction. And
Yeah.
that is Nikki, what's her last name? Nikki
Kimball?
Nikki Kimball. Thank you.
Yep.
Nikki Kimball, her FKT attempt on the Long Trail was probably, there were a few different driving forces that got me into FKTs, and that was definitely one of them, was Nikki Kimball's documentary, Finding Traction. And you get a little bit of an idea for what Patrick went through, because the Long Trail is we're known for treacherous trails in Pennsylvania. The Long Trail is incredibly difficult. And you went from the Long Trail to the road in H.O.T.S is in Tennessee, right?
Yeah, give us a rundown of what exactly it is for those that don't even know about H.O.T.S.
So last annual Heart of the South, they call it last annual every year just for fun.
Yes.
It's a journey race that's anywhere between 300 and 350 miles. It's a different course every year. We met and parked our cars on the state line between Alabama and Georgia, hopped on a bus, and it was a leap of faith. They didn't tell us which direction they were driving us.
Nice.
Before they took us to a hotel, they actually took us to a children's fun center built on a dinosaur excavation site. So we had a couple hours like looking at fossils and doing all the activities around lunch. I don't know if that happens every year. But yeah, they take us to a hotel, fed us at Golden Corral, emailed us the GPX, paid for the first night of hotel, and then in the morning, the bus dropped us off in Fig, North Carolina. If you haven't heard of it, it's like a church and a community center next to it. And they just dropped us off in the middle of nowhere. And we had 10 and a half days to traverse on foot the 347 miles back to our car.
You figure it out.
How many runners were on
80.
the bus? 80?
80 started this year. I think there were about 60 finishers.
Wow. That's pretty good.
And you can go, does everybody go screwed, or do you go crude or screwed?
This one is specifically screwed.
Okay. So Vol State, you can go crude or screwed, which means you either have a crew or you're solo, but H.O.T.S is only screwed. Okay.
Right. Now Vol State was the original, and it's the same course every year. So the locals are so excited they got so excited that like the snack stations turned into, they would let runners like come in the house and take a shower and sleep in a bed overnight, which is not the intent of the race. And also, I mean, like liability, like sooner or later, something weird's going to happen when you strangers in houses. So
yeah, we don't want runners to be like comfortable. We want to make sure that they're miserable on the roads in Tennessee in July.
Exactly. So as Vol State got too well supported, or like there's people who like once they made the announcement you can't let people in the house for the shower, people were building outdoor showers in the Vol State race for that like one event a year, which is just wonderful Southern hospitality.
Yeah.
So as contrast, the June race different course every year. So
Yeah.
although they call the local like police authorities to warn us about
My
the
head's up.
all
the
homeless
hobos
transients
coming through. Yeah.
rolling through. But yeah, so they with a different course every year, it really cuts down on the magic and the help. And for the first couple days, no one assisted with anything.
Mhm.
Now later in the race, more people were finding out, and like every
Figured
church
out.
would have like a box of granola bars
Oh,
and
nice.
a bottle of water, and someone standing there trying to offer you like a pamphlet.
Yeah.
And people like driving up and down the road with like pre-packaged gift bags.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there like, you
That's
are so
wild.
sweet, but you actually like decorated and like you pasted extra cardboard to the gift bag. I can't carry that.
Yeah. Good intentions.
Yeah, they were so sweet.
So what was your strategy? What was your strategy going into this? And then how well did you stick to that strategy or not stick to it?
I completely dropped my strategy the first day.
Okay. What was the strategy?
Yeah, right. Because why not? I was going into this visualizing like if I did like 3 half marathons a day,
Mm-hmm.
like morning half marathon, big stupid lunch, get off my feet, afternoon half, evening one. Like that was my first concept of 40 miles days puts me ahead of the curve enough.
Right. Reasonable.
And then, I've ran more than 40 in a day, so that seemed reasonable. But then,
Sure.
part of it is you go out there and you make best friends. Like the first person I talked to in the parking lot, super excited. A professor of actuarial science and published researcher, just super excited, and we just made friends. And he is a classic like back of the packer. Like he does 1 or 2 100-mile races a month.
Wow.
And he's always last. And he just enjoys himself and eats nonstop until mile 80 and then cruises the last 20 in.
Yeah, he's got it down.
Right? So I'm talking to him, and the more I'm talking, I'm like, we're just going to hang with this guy. And we ended up not running a single step the first day.
Yeah.
Now, we put in at least 40 miles before we went to bed of just like power walking.
Mm-hmm.
And then part of me is like, okay, this is like it's south. There's a little bit of heat acclimation. This will be my warm-up day. And then we did like some running breaks the next day. But yeah, we just ended up just like largely power hiking. And by the by like the third, like we checked in and like reported miles every morning and evening. By the third day checkpoint, we had knocked out 150 miles in the 3 days, just almost entirely walking.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
And he was happy with 5 hours of sleep, and I wanted some extra, so I said, "I'll catch up with you later," and then I never did.
Yeah.
You never caught up?
Never caught up.
Wow.
Oh man, that is experience. That's what that is. I hope to be like that one day and have that much experience.
Had he done the race before?
What's that?
Had he done this race before?
No, he was a first timer.
Wow, that's impressive. What are some of the favorite things that you ate along the way?
Eventually, I stopped taking it so seriously. Like the first 3 days, it was just gas stations, or if we wanted a break from the sun, like we went to a food line and we, got a stash of food and we were sitting there slicing open blood blisters in their lobby. Eventually, once I started enjoying myself more, crossed into Knoxville, and there was a Scottish pub literally right on course.
Nice.
So walked in and like, I've worked hard. I'm going to have a shepherd's pie and a giant lager at mid-race.
There you go.
A lot of Mexican places, cute mom and pop coffee shops.
So you said once you started having fun, like, was there a moment or something that happened that kind of flipped a switch for you?
So 50-mile days was at the peak of what I could do. And, like, yes, I could do it, but it was just way too tactical. Like when we sat down, like we had a list of chores of like, we'd look for the outdoor outlet, the Dollar General, and like we'd plug our devices in and take our shoes off. And then there was this like order of operations of like, clean this, lance this, tape this,
Yeah.
throw this away, reshuffle this stuff. And it was
Yeah.
a really fun and really rewarding logic puzzle.
Yeah.
But by by that third day, I was just like, I'm doing this too efficiently. I'm skipping too many mom and pop places. I'm not
Yeah.
seeing all the sights. I'm not reading all the signs.
Yeah.
So, and I had enough miles in the tank that I finished with 2 days to spare.
Yeah.
So I realized like I can slow down. I can see more things. I ended up getting I think I spent 12 hours in a hotel room that night, just like really, really cleaning everything off and all
Right.
the stretching I should have been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like there was enough time left over that it became more journey and less race.
Yeah. Ah, spot on. I have so many questions. Did you do compression socks at night?
Oh, I had them on 24. Well, I had them on nonstop for the first 6 days.
Yeah.
At some point, my shins swelled enough that I could no longer wear my compression sleeves because I was actually getting like blister chafing from my swollen calves, which I'd never saw that one coming.
Yeah. What else didn't you see coming?
I took a 1 mile detour to go to an REI because I wanted big, cushy toe socks.
Yeah.
I was getting those weird blisters like underneath, like in between my big toe and my second toe. And like I'm not usually bad about that, but obviously this is a bit more than I'd done before.
Yeah.
And like you reach a point where like you can be really excited for Taco Bell, but you won't eat it because you have to cross 4 lanes of traffic.
Yes.
You don't want to take. There's a point where you just don't take extra steps.
Yeah.
And I went a whole extra mile for those.
That's a long ways for toe socks. I feel that.
And I stand by that decision, but a smarter person would have owned them ahead of time.
Was there any spot where you were at a really bad low where you thought about stopping or anything, or was it pretty consistent the whole time as far as your mental state?
I did okay. I mean, I think day 2 and 3, there were more moments of like, this hurts. I know I can do this. I don't know why I want to.
Right.
I'm pretty good at not putting time and energy into those kind of thoughts. Like they'll pop up, but I'm not one to like, that like toilet drain death spiral of like, you just get like grumpier and grumpier and grumpier. Like I'm pretty good at avoiding that. And also like, hey, beer and shepherd's pie, or when I started hitting all the Mexican places.
Right.
Yeah.
That was good for spirits.
So who would you recommend this race to? I don't think it's for everybody, but who would you recommend it to? Because when I think of this, I think it's not as pretty as the trails, right? But I've been on some courses, when I did the Mason-Dixon Trail, there was a good amount of it was on the road, but it was absolutely beautiful. Those particular roads were very nice, and it was country farms, and I love country farms. Like what types of things, if you like this, then this might be the race for you.
So I mean, one honest thing is like, it's just road miles. There's no trail. You're pounding pavement the whole time. So that's just something to understand, which I don't care for pavement. That was my least favorite part of it.
Yeah.
The cool thing is like, it's almost not a running event. Like you're hiking and you're traveling and seeing stuff. So like hiking 35 to 40 miles in a day, it's not about being fast. It's just about doing a long day. Like hiking like a 20-minute mile is not bad for the majority of people. Like people who don't consider them athletes can actually sustain that for a lot longer. It's just a question of you want to be out there for moving for 15 hours. So really, I just think it's what we do is mental.
Yeah. Do you want to be alone with your thought, potentially alone, potentially with other people for 15 hours alone with your thoughts?
Right. Or like navigating, like, I mean, getting the GPX file on our phone was great because like we could look at the course and like all of the like all the gas stations and hotels and stuff would line up. But there's just a game of like the hotels are where they are.
Yeah.
So if you want a hotel, you either do a 30-mile day or a 50-mile day, and there's no segment in between.
Yeah.
Or are you willing just to go camp in the bushes somewhere, which I did a couple nights.
Yeah. And I think it's hard too to wrap your head around for some people who are used to, because I think the person who does this has either been doing road running for a long time, or they've been doing ultras for maybe not a long time, but they've been doing ultras maybe for a few years. And potentially that person is accustomed to doing, say, a 12 to 15 minute mile. So you really got to wrap your head around, these miles are going to tick by a heck of a lot slower. And that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. And I think that's trying to explain that to people like, oh, I did a 40-mile day. Yes, I understand that 40 miles doesn't normally take me that long, but like, it's impressive. Like doing 40 miles in one day is hugely impressive in when you're doing these multi-day events.
Yeah. Like I had a friend who, like he was out to win. He ran 10-minute miles for the first 98 miles.
Wow.
Non-stop.
Yeah.
And then he sat in a hotel for 24 hours and quit.
Right.
It's like, it's...
Yeah,
that's
which
hard,
is unfortunate.
And it feels terrible and it's unsustainable.
Yeah.
So like I was looking at my watch like, oh wow, I just walked a 17-minute mile. I can't believe I did that.
Right. So it's wrapping your head around like what do I need to do right now to make sure 3 days from now I'm okay. So I'm gonna need different socks. I need to switch my socks. I need to clean this and lance this and just taking care of yourself most of the time. And it's quite the undertaking. I think there's a whole appreciation for what crew can do for you when you have to take care of yourself out there.
Yeah. And it's, sorry. The weird mental game is like at any given point, you don't know where you're sleeping that night.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know where your next meal is necessarily. Like you can look ahead and like, oh yeah, there's some restaurants 6 miles down the road, or like you're looking at the game like I'm slower than I expected.
Right.
Everything closes at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Where's my last supply point?
Yeah. I did that on the Horseshoe Trail. I knew I wasn't going to make it to where I would need to be. And I like stopped in the middle of this trail and I'm calling this campground. And this woman she's like, well, I don't know if we can do a same day reservation. And I'm just like, please, can you please? And well, what time are you going to get here? Well, not until 9 o'clock. Well, is there any chance you can get here by 7? I'm like, no, I can't. I can't get there by 7. Will you please just let me camp in the back? It's crazy trying to figure out logistics while you're out there, recognizing that every time you stop to figure out logistics, you're bleeding time. Eric, you're amazing.
Can I say something, Grace? You kind of feel okay. Anyway, I think
Eric, you're amazing.
One of the beautiful things about these type of events in Vol State too, and I think there should be more of them, is the fact that they are on road, and a lot of trail runners, oh my gosh, I'm not hitting the pavement for that long and that hard, but it puts you in a spot that you're totally different than anybody else who's driven down that road or across that across that state. And, a lot, and the way I look at it is, and I haven't done any of these crazy, insane, either of those two races, but there's a lot of national parks out there, and every day they're full of people looking at the same amazing things. But there's also a lot of cool stuff on a lot of the backcountry roads. And man, when you do a race like this, like you're saying, you're not running the whole time. A lot of it's walking and talking with people that you're racing with. Who cares if it's the little stuff you're seeing, but you're still seeing stuff at a 20-minute mile instead of 70 miles per hour going down the road. I'm sure you have tons of memories of those little things just from your adventure. And it's probably stuff that kind of pops up in your head here and there that you don't even remember, to think off the top of your head. But that's what my drive would be, to do something like this, because it puts you somewhere where the population's never going to be in that spot.
Yeah, the director, Laz Lake, he's the same guy who puts on the Barkley Marathons. He loves local history, and we were hanging out in the parking lot before the first night of the event, and he's like, "Oh yeah, when you get to this town, like if you look up in the corner of the town square, you can still see a cannonball up there from the Civil War that they never removed." And like every town he took us through has some like great story, and like the GPX would give us like a weird like zigzag through a town because he wanted us to see this little park, or the statue or the sign. Very, very eccentrically, the night before the race, he kept talking about Southern breakfast biscuits.
Southern biscuits are no joke.
And they were phenomenal. He kept coming back to it again and again and again. And then after the post-race meeting, he made us stand in single file line, and everyone had to pre-order our breakfast biscuits for that morning. So that and then the other start of the race was really bizarre. So I'll backtrack.
Southern biscuits are no joke. No,
so we'll get to the biscuits next, because there's this community center, and the bus pulls like alongside the road, across the road. And there's this little tunnel just so like, the school children or whatever could like not cross the road. And it's a road no one drives on anyway. So we get off the bus, and they make us all like cross the road, and we get the big giant picture against the community center, and we all walk back over. And then they make a giant announcement that it's unsafe to cross the road. So for the race, you have to go through the tunnel, even though they made us cross the road twice already. And they know what they're doing. And then a mile down the road, there's this little mom and pop shop. And we must have really boosted their quarter, like pre-ordering like 200 of these breakfast biscuits. Like we had friends who ordered like 6 or 8 of them and just stuffed their pockets. And that was like all of their food for the day. And how many of the race decisions, like how much of that 350 miles was dictated over the fact that he wanted to send us through this tunnel, and he wanted to buy biscuits off this little mom and pop shop.
Right.
This is beautiful.
That's amazing. I love it. I love races like that. It's cool that our sport. I was just looking at pictures. Congratulations to Chris Young, by the way. He did the Ironman over the past weekend, and all the people who got to finish the Ironman. I see big stuff like that, and I'm like, wow, that's so cool. Huge, big races, and very well put together. And I think about my own race, which is kind of like low key, but there's something beautiful about the low key races that are just based around biscuits and a tunnel. And there's something beautiful about the big ones too, and about doing something with a huge group of people. So it's I don't know. I love those kinds of races. I think they're a whole lot of fun.
We stumbled on some great charm for Ironstone for people still on the fence. Halfway through the rail trail, you go through the community of Williamsburg. That town is so excited. The mayor has an open tab, and anyone can run in and get free soft serve at the Martin. I forget which one. We'll have a big sign for you, but like there'll be a spot there where you just show up, and you're gonna get free ice cream mid-race because it'll be a hot day and you're working hard and you deserve it. But
nice.
The mayor is buying strangers because he just wants people running through his town.
I love it.
That ice cream is going to stay in your stomach so nicely as you climb. Wow.
You gotta just go for it sometimes,
So is Vol State on your radar or not right now?
I'm open to it. So I'm taking music grad classes. So I'm going to be this is what music grad school is like. After Ironstone, I'm going to go to Messiah College for a week of drum camp. And then the next week is like a week of trumpet and tuba camp. And then like the next summer, I'm going to have saxophone camp and then conducting camp, which unfortunately conflicted with Vol State, which is why I chose H.O.T.S instead, because it fit in the schedule.
Okay. Okay. Now, I have to ask this question before we transition over to what's next. Doing something like this, I feel like when you go through something like that, there's a big lesson either about yourself or about life or something that you walk away with that you didn't have before, or there's something that you get to leave behind, that you allow yourself to leave it behind out on the course. So what I hope, did that happen for you? Did you have like a big kind of moment or a lesson or what happened?
It was a great confirmation of like my big, I don't want to say my existential crisis, but my like ongoing like frame of reference over the past year or two.
Right.
Time is so important.
Yeah.
It's our most valuable resource, but with enough time, anyone listening to this can accomplish anything. It's just a matter of how long it takes you.
Yeah, I want to jump in real quick. When I first met you, I don't know how many years ago it was, probably on the Facebook before we met in person, which happens a lot these days. But I remember a quote that you kind of own and you posted after something big that you did was, "You can do all things." And it was a very simple quote. There's no fluff to it, but it fits right into, I believe that too. And I want to show people that also. And that's all you did. All you were doing was posting that quote, just saying, look, try the stuff that scares you. Try the stuff that sounds stupid. Run the 300 miles on road because it sounds like it sucks so bad, but you can do all the things if you want to. And you just posted that after this event too, on one of your Facebook posts. And it brought me back to remembering that's kind of your signature sign off. And I truly love it. And more people need to live by it. So I just want to say thank you for that. And I hope people take it to heart.
Oh, gladly. But yeah, like time is your only actual limit. Like, I don't know how long it'll take you to do 100 miles, but like people who can't run a step, you can walk 100 miles. Mm-hmm. You don't need to, but you can go do something cool. This race, highly recommend for it's anyone with a flexible mind or who's willing to be uncomfortable, but you don't have to do this race. Any one of your friends can just pick you up, drop you off somewhere 100 miles from your house with a running pack and a phone charger and go do it.
Yeah.
Make it back.
Now, am I correct that you kind of kept this race under the radar as far as telling people you were doing it, or is that false? I mean,
no, that's very accurate.
How come? What was your motivation behind that? Is that just who you are, or was there a reason, or what? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh, absolutely. It was 25%. I had to make sure I didn't chicken out and make sure I actually started that start line, which was there were moments beforehand, like I'm driving down to do what? There was at least 5 minutes where I didn't know if I can get in the car. Right. Beyond that, it's just really big. And I don't know if you've experienced this too, where like I have family members who like they run 10Ks and they love them and they start saying like, well, I'm not a runner. Look at what this guy does. Mm-hmm. And, there's that really fine line of people should know that cool things exist and people should know that they're capable of it. But I never wanted this to turn into some kind of crazy attention grab or ego trip of like, oh yeah, hundreds weren't enough. So yeah, we're going for the 350s now. Take it from there. Like I never wanted to be that guy and come across as that way. So it was nice just to be quiet and let people could figure out naturally. And like, I don't like my coworkers, they find out cool. They don't need to know. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah. Understood. Makes sense. I was just curious because I got that feel, talking to Ben a little bit when you were doing it and stuff, that it was kind of kept under wraps.
Yeah. And also, side note, if you're going to don't advertise if you're going to be away from home for 10 days, just for, robbers and vandals and such too.
Very
like 5% or less of it.
Nefarious people.
Nice. Well, what else we got? Anything, Grace?
I feel good. Man, I'm inspired. I am inspired, Patrick. I still don't know that I want to run 300 miles on the road because I don't know that my knees can handle being off camber for that long. These knees are they're built a little different, but I am still inspired to go out and do big things. So I appreciate you coming on and inspiring all of the people out there. I want to hear if anybody else decides to sign up after listening to this. I hope so.
So coming off of that race, the only side effect you have, injury you currently have, are shin splints, which kind of makes total perfect sense.
Yeah,
it might be an overuse injury. Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, I have another question. I have so many. Shoes, one pair?
Oh, because I'm ridiculous, I do a lot of my road running in bedrock sandals.
Okay.
So I had 5 to 10 miles hiking in sandals every day, and then in an ultra road shoe the rest of the time.
Okay. So sandals and shoes kind of swapped. Okay.
Yeah, because you can change your blister points. You're changing your gait a little bit.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Letting feet air out a little more in the sandals was huge.
Right.
Like, soggy feet are not good. They're never good, but they're really bad in a multi-day race.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I run roads in the sandals though, so I earned that level of idiocy.
Yeah.
But I stand by it.
You got to practice idiocy.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get good at it first. Poles, no poles.
Had them the whole time.
Yep, smart.
Yep. Even sometimes I was just carrying them, but I just had them just in case.
Yeah.
Also, they're good for angry dogs.
Oh, nice. Plenty of uses.
I was escorted by a very angry dog for it must have been like a full football field. Like, he did not want me walking in front of his house, and he would.
Boy,
did you guys see the video of a puma that went viral? Like, I want to say a summer or two ago.
Yes.
It's escorting a trail runner, and it would kind of do like a fake lunge, and it was doing exactly that.
Wow.
And I'm walking backwards across the highway, hoping the cars are paying attention to me as this dog is doing these crazy lunges at me. So pole's good for that too.
Okay. Yeah, I'm out. Okay. I had to get those questions out. I appreciate you coming on, Patrick. Thank you for telling us all your stories. I can't wait to hear more stories and more adventures. I think race directors out there should consider hiring you for some music in the woods, because I think that would be awesome. And
actually, so my marching band does play at the finish line at Sweat for Vets every year.
Nice. See, there we go. I've seen music out on courses before. I've seen it happen. So I played music at the last idiot race, and everybody loved it way better than Eric's music.
Whatever.
Don't listen to Eric. You are awesome.
Thank you, Patrick. Well, good luck this weekend. We look forward to it. I hope everybody stays healthy and has a super fun time.
Appreciate it.
And let us know if anybody else signs up. I'm curious too.
Yeah,
we'll be checking. It was 82 before I logged on.
Beard power.
Yeah.
The beard boost.
All right, you're doing your big group run, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be gone all weekend. What are you doing this weekend?
All weekend, boy. Just some more long running leading up to the 100-miler, because that's what we do when we sign up for a 100-miler. We run
long runs.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's come back next weekend and talk about all the runs and talk about more things and talk about beards.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. I'll be here Monday.
All right. You're awesome, Eric.
Thanks again, Patrick. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, everybody, for joining in. Have a great night. Have a great week. Bye now.
Bye.